Chapter 9, Mishnah 10. Labels of weavers and labels of launderers, that is, identifying labels that weavers and launderers sew to garments in their care, are forbidden as Kilayim. That is, if the garment is wool and linen, if the garment is wool and linen thread is used for the label, or vice versa, the garment is shotness and may not be worn. We have learned in Mishnah 8 that wool that is woven together with linen is shotness. In addition, a woolen cloth that is sewn to a linen cloth is shotness, provided that it was sewed in a manner that the Torah considers attached. The Mishnah describes the kind of stitch that forms an attachment and explains a number of laws for which this rule is relevant. It first describes a kind of stitch that does not create an attachment. If a person stitches two pieces of cloth together with a single pass of the needle, it is not considered an attachment regarding the laws of Tumah. Similarly, if a piece of wool is stitched to a piece of linen with a single pass of the needle, the combination is not subject to the prohibition of Kilayim, because such a stitch is not considered an attachment. Likewise, one who undoes such a stitch on Shabbos is exempt. That is, he has not transgressed the prohibition on undoing a stitch on Shabbos. The Mishnah describes the kind of stitch that creates an attachment. However, if a person brought the thread's two ends to the same side, that is, he passed the needle through the fabrics twice, in and then out again, with the results that both ends of the thread are now on the same side, it is considered an attachment regarding the laws of Tumah. Similarly, if he attached the wool and linen in such a manner, the combination is subject to the law of Kilayim, because such a stitch attaches the two fabrics. Likewise, one who undoes such a stitch on Shabbos is liable for violating the prohibition of undoing a stitch. The next Tana holds that even a stitch made with two passages of the thread does not create an attachment. Rabbi Yehuda says two fabrics are not joined until one triples the stitch. That is, he passes the thread through them 3 times. The chapter concludes with one last case of shotness. A sack and a box combined for Kilayim. That is, if a piece of wool is attached to a sack and a piece of linen is attached to a box, and the wool and linen are then sewn together with 2 stitches, and the resulting combination of wool and linen is considered shotness. Although the wool and linen are attached to separate utensils, they can still become shotness if they are joined to each other.